Good evening, and welcome to the April 2nd, 2014 legislative session of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining. Join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Garrity? Present. Trustee Codman?
Present.
Trustee Gazzardo?
Present.
Trustee DeRio?
Present.
And Mayor Hanauer.
Present. Two announcements.
Okay.
The first one is congratulations to the Village of Ossining. This is the 201st anniversary of the issuance of the charter of the Village of Ossining. So happy birthday to us all. And we have a new program that is about to be launched in the village. It is Ride Connect, and it will be, we are looking for volunteers, and this will ultimately go up on the website. We're looking for volunteers to drive people, elderly people or handicapped people or home health aides or others, people who have jobs but don't have a car to get there or the bus doesn't go there. So we're looking for volunteers first before we actually look out for the people who need help. So if anyone is interested in volunteering, please call 914-242-7433. That's called Ride Connect, and it is a program of Family Services of Westchester. Anyone else? Ron?
I wanted to, you have to excuse my voice, I've been sick for about 5 days, but the good news is that our volunteer fire department continues to do some really fine work. There was a structural fire on State Street this past week in which proximity of other buildings was about 1.5 feet on the other side. The building was occupied, but we were able to put the fire out and limited damage to the adjoining buildings. Our volunteer fire department does amazing work, and I just wanted to call that out because they're quick response, and they're obviously the benefit of mutual aid system and other departments in the area that came to assist, made it possible for us to not only reduce the damage to the building itself, but also to keep the adjacent buildings from any significant damage. And you know, Jason and fire chiefs and the whole department and all the mutual fire aid system needs to be complimented for their great effort, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that they're here in Ossining. Thank you.
Roll thing.
Yes. I'll do a quick shout out for Energize Ossining. EnergizeOssining.org. You've heard John speak about it. Lori Lee has recently had her home upgraded, and so is Bob. And I know that they are enjoying the benefits of having a home that is more energy efficient, costs less to manage, and is a lot more comfortable to live in. And so if you want to find out about it, how you can get a perhaps even free or very low cost home energy efficiency assessment, a comprehensive assessment, go to EnergizeOssining.org and you can learn more. And there are 2 events coming up this month that I wanted to alert folks to. One of them is our next documentary and discussion screening. It's going to be Thursday, April 17th. Join us at the Ossining Public Library for a movie called YERT, which stands for, it's an abbreviation for Your Environmental Road Trip. It's supposed to be kind of a funny documentary. We've got a really interesting panel, group of panelists from Ossining and from the area talking about environmentally related issues that come up in this film. And again, it's April 17th at 6:30 at the Ossining Public Library. And then a couple days later, that Saturday, is our 5th annual Ossining Earth Day Festival, which is down at Lewis Engle Waterfront Park. That's April 19th. We'll be there from 11 till 4. There'll be live music throughout the day. The Mike Risco School is organizing the music for us. There's lots of organizations, local groups. There'll be art projects, lots of fun things for family and kids, and delicious food. So please join us. The Wobble Cafe is among the food vendors that you can enjoy when you're down there.
Time.
11 to 4. You.
Else?
I got 2 things. One, more of a national thing rather than just Ossining. March 2014 is the first year in 10 years that our armed forces around the world suffered no casualties. Not a single serviceman or woman serving in harm's way lost their life in defense of this country in March. It's the first time in 10 years. So in case anybody's wondering what President Obama's been doing in foreign affairs, that's what he's been doing, bringing the troops home and keeping them safe. God bless everyone who serves. On another note, Ossining Matters. Ossining Matters provides funds for programs for school children not covered by the school budget. They do incredible work. And they're having a fundraiser on Saturday, May 3rd. And this fundraiser is going to feature the Magnet Theater Touring Company doing improv. So it should be a hilarious evening, and you get to help support after-school programs and before-school programs and weekend programs for the young people in the school system. So we are all looking forward to your support. Go to osningmatters.com for more information and to get tickets. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on. Do we have any organizational announcements?
Yeah, I might as well put on another hat.
Okay.
In my Coast Guard Auxiliary hat. United States Coast Guard Auxiliary Flotilla 6-7 meets at the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club on the third Wednesday of every month. If you're interested in taking a boating safety course, and you should be, because it becomes mandatory this season, you can go and visit them.
Bless you.
And if you want to get all kinds of opportunities to participate in Coast Guard on-water activities or Coast Guard aviation, all those things are available with the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Show up any third Wednesday of the month at the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club at 7:30 p.m. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Are there any other? No? We'll move on to Village Board resolutions. Is there anyone that would like to comment on any of the resolutions? Not seeing any. Oh, what am I doing?
Reports?
I guess we should do administrative reports.
We should.
Okay. I liked it the other way. Village Manager Richard Lyons. Bless you.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Anyway, I wanted to comment on a couple of resolutions on the agenda this evening. The Village of Ossining is very fortunate in that it has over a long time had a very close relationship with Pace University, which is an important educational institution located in Westchester County. Pace has done, in the past, has done any number of studies to look at how the village can better collaborate with its neighbors, how we can do cost-saving measures to get greater efficiency for our taxpayers. It's looked at any number of our systems to see how we can make them better. We currently have an agreement in place with Pace. They're reviewing our planning and development building process to see how we can make that better, make it more user-friendly to the applicant and to the resident and businessman, while safeguarding the things that need to be in place for any building. Now we're fortunate enough, Resolution D authorizes a further collaboration with PACE Environmental Policy Clinic in support of development of Energy Resiliency Strategy 2014. The village and PACE have had discussions. The Village of Ossining, of course, we're always looking at our energy sources and see how we can make them more efficient. We're always looking at our buildings to try to make them more efficient and more up to date. We recently completed three projects with NYPA, and so recognizing that, PACE has come forward and approached the village to work with them and the Environmental Policy Clinic to develop energy resiliency strategies. This will look at and determine and I think take the next step forward to look at the feasibility of creating decentralized local clean power sources, microgrids, which would serve the village and the collaborating public and private entities. So we're really delighted to have another partnership with Pace University, and we certainly thank them for thinking of us and we look forward to working together and seeing what we can creatively come up with. Resolution E is a resolution authorizing new life insurance for residents. Our personnel manager, Ms. McMahon, was able to identify a insurance company that would provide the identical policy we currently have in place and save the village little money. Resolution G is with respect to Ossining drinking water source review. The Village of Ossining water source supply is plentiful and has been recognized by the County of Westchester as #1 for quality. However, in looking towards the future, we're looking at a 20 or 30-year look forward. We want to continue to review our resources and see what is available, not only to augment what's there, perhaps potentially, but also to look for, they call them redundant sources, so that you can have sources from more than one entity, if you will, so that if something happens on one source, that you're able to go to the secondary source. So the first step in that, the board was able to interview Hazen and Sawyer, a very highly respected environmental engineer and scientist. So the first step will be to engage them in a consulting engineer agreement to do the preliminary work to review the alternatives and bring them back to the board. So that's what Resolution G would authorize. Resolution H is some 2013 year-end budget modifications, which is basically taking from within each particular budget line, maybe taking some money from one line to another to cover some overdrafts on one particular item and covering them from those items which have been underspent. It's basically your 2013 year-end cleanup resolutions. And the audit is currently going on in the village at this time for the next 2 weeks, and following that we should have an audit report, and we'll be able to come back to you and give you the results of calendar year 2013. Resolution I is a budget modification to cover certain potential workmen's compensation benefits fund. We have a third-party administrator who administers our workmen's comp benefits fund, and you put that together with a separate entity that comes in and projects what should be potential surplus funds that you should put aside, and they put those two items together and they come up with a sum of money that they feel would be appropriate, not to look to today's or this year's needs, but to project them out ahead, so that you can be have a fund available for the years ahead, 5 years ahead. We actually had a meeting with the third-party administrator this week. It was extremely informative. They're actually going to go back and relook the numbers because we thought they were a little bit aggressive, to say the least. However, in the meantime, we're going to ask you to approve this Resolution I, which will basically put another $500,000 into that fund. If, in fact, they come back to us and they feel that it was not necessary, we can always do another transfer later. But this is sort of the minimum end that was recommended, and we're optimistic that we'll be able to come back and we'll be able to cover that, and those monies may be returned to fund balance in the best of all possible worlds. So, Resolution J is the compatible resolution to the Internal Service Fund claims liabilities, and that's the actuary's actual numbers and the identity of the amount of the fund that they're looking to establish. Resolution K is a modification to the village procurement policy. Recent changes in the laws now allow you to, in a sense, piggyback on other people's contracts and other people's procurement policies. And at this point, we've discussed it, we'd like to add the Empire State Purchasing Group or the National Joint Powers Alliance. These are recognized entities of collaborative municipalities that have gotten together, and you can, in a sense, piggyback on their contract as long as they're consistent with all the rules and regulations of New York State as well as your own local laws. And finally, Resolution M is a application for an awning approval at 12 Croton Avenue that you reviewed in your work session. So this evening it will be approved by you as well. Thank you.
Corporation Counsel Lori Lee Dixon.
Hi, good evening. Just on a personal note, it is International Autism Awareness Day, so those of us wearing blue and shining blue lights from our homes tonight, that's the reason for the blue. It represents a general effort to make people aware of individuals on the spectrum and to be much more tolerant of those individuals and the families that support them. I have a number of children on the spectrum in my family, and I know how difficult the process is to live a somewhat normal life. So I stand in support today of those individuals. I also wanted to point out just a reminder that we have added item L to your agenda because, as you know, we held off the last time on the Cablevision franchise because you have a code provision, Chapter 103, Section 103-51, which required you to provide notice of any meeting at which you'd be discussing this or considering this. It is not a new franchise. It's a renewal of a franchise, but we thought it would be best to be safe. We provided the notice. Marianne was kind enough to publish that notice in your newspaper. And also, interestingly enough, the code also requires you to circulate the notice on the cable station. So that has been done in accordance with your local code, so you can take action this evening and proceed to renewing the franchise for Cablevision. So that's a huge step forward, as that franchise agreement was in need of renewal. So thank you. I also just wanted to point out that item F, which is authorizing settlement of litigation. This is an ongoing matter. We have reached an agreement based upon a settlement conference in White Plains, and we believe it's a good settlement offer, and we've accepted it. And this authorization tonight allows me to sign the voucher and obtain the release and to actually close this matter. So one less court case on my calendar is a good thing. So thank you for taking action on that for this evening.
Okay, now we'll move on to adoption of resolutions. Excuse me. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby approves the minutes of the March 19th, 2014 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby approves the voucher detail report dated April 2nd, 2014 in the amount of $1,652,070.10. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Board? Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that upon the recommendation of the Fire Chief, Nicholas Salucci of Austin, New York, was elected an active member of the Cataract Coast Company No. 2 for interior firefighting at their regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Board? Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas the Village of Austin, whereas the Village Board of Trustees supports the findings of Governor Andrew Cuomo's Power New York strategy that the generation of electrical power is an essential part of New York's economy. New Yorkers need reasonably priced and reliable energy, and governmental policies that affect our energy infrastructure affect every New Yorker. Consequently, New York's energy policy must meet the interrelated goals of providing affordable and reliable energy, improving our environment, and creating jobs and economic growth through the energy policy as we transition to a more efficient, lower carbon, and cleaner, greener energy economy. And whereas the Village Board of Trustees supports the goal of the Power New York strategy that state policies should support local generation when it is cost competitive and meets our environmental goals, since New York power generation creates jobs and economic activity and supports our state and local tax base. And whereas the Village Board of Trustees supports the objectives of New York Prize announced by Governor Cuomo in his January 8, 2014 State of the State address to combine decentralized local clean power sources with microgrids, standalone energy systems that can operate as an energy island in the event of a power outage, that will enable communities to maintain electricity and heat, even during the worst storms and emergencies, to be more responsive to customer needs and provide tools for the customers to manage their energy use. And whereas the Village of Ossining is located on the shores of the lower Hudson River estuary and is subject to tidal flooding, property damage, and threats to infrastructure due to coastal and extreme storm events such as Superstorm Sandy and Hurricane Irene, and whereas the village is an infrastructure hub in the lower Hudson with critical facilities located on or near the Ossining waterfront, including Westchester County's Ossining Wastewater Treatment Plant, the Ossining Metro-North Commuter Station and parking, a Metro-North substation, a Consolidated Edison substation, and Sing Sing Correctional Facility. And whereas the Ossining Village Water District serves a population of more than 30,000, including residents of the neighboring town of Ossining, and whereas the village has demonstrated its desire and commitment to protect the environment through its membership and implementation of the following organizations and programs: New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Climate Smart Communities, U.S. Conference of Mayors Climate Protection Agreement, International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives, Northern Westchester Energy Action Consortium, Energize Ossining, Municipal Energy Audit 2009, and whereas the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining has a demonstrated interest in advancing the reliability of energy generation and distribution to the community through a strategy of energy efficiency and energy resiliency. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of Trustees, in cooperation with the State of New York and in furtherance of state energy policy, will work with the Pace University Environmental Policy Clinic to develop the Energy Resiliency Strategy 2014 to determine the feasibility of creating decentralized, local, clean power sources that utilize microgrids to serve the village and collaborating public and private entities. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Board? This is something that the Northern Westchester Energy Action Consortium has been talking about for 2 years, 2.5 years. It is great pride that the village is accepting the offer and invitation of PACE to be the beta test, if you will, for this program. I think it's terrific.
Yes, I'm delighted, and I look forward to learning about your work and following along as that some of the students who are working on the project are here with us in the room, and we got to hear from them last week. It's very exciting. Delighted that you're here and look forward to seeing how your progress goes.
Thanks for coming out today.
You-
Appreciate not only that you came, but of course the great work you're going to be doing with us. We really look forward to this collaboration. Thank you.
John, do you have a comment you want to make? Sure. At the microphone?
Well, on behalf of
Microphone.
On behalf of my students, James, Sarah, Nadia, and Carlos, who are the Ossining Microgrid team in the Environmental Policy Clinic, which is actually 12 students altogether, I want to thank you for allowing us to do this partnership with you. We became involved with the Village of Ossining because of the reputation the village has steadily built for being a forward-thinking local government, interested in sustainability, interested in green development and green energy. And we are very excited about partnering with you, not just to make this a potential beta site for microgrid development, but also to be an example for other communities in the Hudson River Valley about what green energy development can do. And in furtherance of Governor Cuomo's observations, which I agree with completely, that our energy safety and our energy security depends an awful lot on local generation of energy and the direct involvement of local government. So our hats off to you as well, and our great thanks for this partnership.
Good. Thank you very much.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, before we move on to the other resolutions, Trustee Gazada, you were absent on March the 19th. So I will change this that you have abstained. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Resolved that the village manager of the Village of Ossining is hereby authorized to enter into an agreement subject to the review and approval of Corporation Counsel with Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, 7 Hanover Square, New York, New York, for the life insurance benefits in connection with covered village employees for the period to become effective May 1st, 2014. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Board?
Yeah, I wanted to say something about this. It is extraordinary and that we're able to find the opportunity to save some money and go with such a great company as Guardian. Guardian is AAA rated by AM Best, and it's, I forget whatever the highest rating is from Moody's. It is one of the top insurance companies in America. And for us to be able to save money and go to a company like this really speaks well, again, of our staff and the effort they put in to get best value for your tax dollar.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas the matter Trulo Realty Corporation versus Village of Ossining is pending in Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Westchester, under index numbers 57924-2013, and whereas the matter was recently scheduled for a mandatory conference by the settlement conference part of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, and whereas at a recent settlement conference the village offered, and the plaintiff, and by and through attorney Aldo Vigiano, PC, has agreed to a settlement of said matter for the total sum of $21,125. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby authorizes and directs the Village Corporation Counsel, as agreed during the settlement conference, to settle the matter, Trulo Realty Corporation versus Village of Ossining, now pending in Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Westchester, under index number 57924, 2013, and authorizes payment in connection with same to plaintiff under the terms of said settlement. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that the Village Board of the Village of Ossining hereby accepts a proposal from Hazen and Sawyer Environmental Engineers and Scientists of 498 7th Avenue, New York, New York, dated March 21, 2014, and authorizes the village manager to enter into an agreement in an amount not to exceed $188,000 for professional services involving the Village of Ossining drinking water source expansion, subject to the review and approval of said agreement by Corporation Counsel. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
This is the beginning, I think, of a rather long and expensive process, but necessary process. And it sort of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about a moment ago, microgrids. This is making sure that not only we have enough power in this village forever, but that we also have sufficient, clean, tasty water, or tasteless, depending on how you look at it, water in perpetuity for the village and the town of Ossining.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved the 2013 General Water and Sewer Fund budgets are modified as described below. 1, to appropriate unexpended appropriations and surplus revenues for additional health insurance expenditures as follows. General Fund, $329,000. From Employee Retirement System appropriation, $50,000. From Judgments and Claims appropriations, $50,000. From Social Security, $29,000. From Sales Tax Distribution, $200,000. Water Fund, $25,800. From Employees Retirement System appropriations, $15,000. From Social Security Medicare appropriations, $10,800. And Sewer Fund, $8,000. From Employees Retirement System appropriations, $8,000. Increase General Fund Tree Service appropriations for expenditures in excess of the original budget estimate as a result of additional storm cleanup expenditures in 2013, $15,134 from excess FEMA Superstorm Sandy revenues. 3, increase various Parks and Recreation Department appropriations in excess of original budget estimate of $45,000 from excess mortgage tax revenues received. 4, increase fire and police and fire retirement system appropriations by $19,564 for retirement due on settlement 2012 PBA contract from employees' retirement system appropriations. 5, increase police department's appropriation in excess of original budget estimates of $14,142 from excess parking station tag revenues received. 6, increase water fund engineering contractual appropriations $27,707 for generator and other engineering work from purification chemicals. 7, increase sewer fund legal contractual appropriations $16,015 for sewer break litigation expenditures from sewer fund contingency. Increase sewer fund bond and note expense appropriations $21,514 for bond issuance costs not charged to the sewer Kilbrook capital project from sewer fund contingency. And 8, for the administrative departments, Police Department, Department of Public Works, and Parks and Recreation Department budgets to transfer appropriations between various personal service, equipment, and contractual expenditure accounts for no net increase to the budgets. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas the village management plan for providing additional financial resources for the workers' compensation benefits internal fund includes uses of issuance recoveries, revenues, and recommended use of unexpended excess appropriations in the general, water, and sewer funds. And whereas village management has recommended that $500,000 in surplus and available fund balance as of December 31st, 2013 be appropriated to increase the cash reserve in the Workers' Compensation Benefit Internal Service Fund. Now therefore be it resolved, the 2013 General Water and Sewer Fund budgets are modified to appropriate and transfer available surplus fund balance to the Workers' Compensation Benefit Internal Service Fund to provide for additional cash reserves for estimated self-insured claim liabilities, workers' compensation benefits as follows. We're going to increase the appropriations in the general water and sewer, the account name general fund, transfer to workers' compensation, $416,500. Water fund, transfer to workers' compensation benefit fund, $66,000. Sewer fund, transfer to workers' compensation benefit fund, $17,500, for a total increase in appropriations of $500,000. Decrease appropriation in the general water and sewer funds. General fund, workers' compensation employee benefits, $183,581. Water funds, workers' compensation employee benefits, $30,376. Sewer fund, workers' compensation employee benefits, $8,843. Total decrease in appropriations, $222,800. We're going to increase appropriated fund balance, account name appropriated fund balance, $232,919. Appropriated fund balance, $35,624, and appropriated fund balance, $8,657, for a total increase in appropriated fund balance of $277,200. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
The board? Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas the village has retained the services of SG Risk of Lyndhurst, New Jersey, as actuary consultants for valuing the village's estimated self-insured claims liability for general liability claims and workers' compensation benefit claims, and whereas the actuary consultant has provided a range of estimated self-insured claim liabilities that may be utilized for accounting and financial statements reporting purposes such being between $443,000 and $600,000 for accumulated general liability claims as of December 31st, 2013, and between $3,139,000 and $4,709,000 for the accumulated workers' compensation benefit claims as of December 31st, 2013. Now therefore be resolved, the village policy for recording such estimated self-insured claims liability shall be as follows. 1. For general liability claims, the midpoint range of the estimated self-insured claims liability, or $522,000 as of December 31st, 2013. And 2. For workers' compensation benefit claims, the 1/4 point range of the estimated self-insured claims liability, or $3,532,000 as of December 31st, 2013. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Board? Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas the village management has determined that it would be beneficial to allow for applicable purchases to be made through certain purchase consortiums, provided that the contract is let in a manner that constitutes competitive bidding consistent with New York state law and made available for use by other governmental entities. Now therefore be resolved, the village procurement policy is modified to allow for purchases to be made through the Empire State Purchasing Group and the National Joint Powers Alliance, and be it further resolved, the village manager is authorized to sign the appropriate applications and/or agreements made subject to approval by the Corporation Council to allow for the Village of Ossining to become members of these purchase consortiums, and be it further resolved, Section 1 of the village procurement policy is modified as follows. The following items are not subject to competitive bidding pursuant to Section 103 of the General Municipal Law. Purchase contracts under $10,000 and public works contracts under $20,000. Emergency purchases, certain municipal hospital purchases, items purchased from agencies for the blind or severely handicapped, goods purchased from correctional institutions, purchases under New York State and any New York State county or local government contract, or through the Empire State Purchasing Group or the National Group Powers Alliance, provided that the contract is let in a manner that constitutes competitive bidding consistent with New York State law and made available for use by other governmental entities and subject to the approval of the village manager and Corporation Council, and surplus and secondhand purchases from other entities. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Board? Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that the village board of excuse me, resolved that the village board of trustees hereby exercises the discretionary right granted pursuant to Section 130-19 of the Village Code, and in connection therewith authorizes the village manager to execute a franchise agreement evidencing renewal of the non-exclusive franchise to construct, install, maintain, extend, and operate a cable system by Cablevision of Ossining LP, 1111 Stewart Avenue, Bethpage, New York, subject to the approval of the New York Public Service Commission as required by law, subject to the review and approval by said agreement by Corporation Council. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Board? Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the application of Alfredo Viscara for the business located at 12 Croton Avenue for an awning in accordance with the application dated January 7th, 2014, and amended April 2nd, 2014. The color of the awning will be maroon with white lettering and will be made of canvas. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That completes your resolutions for this evening. Is there any continuing business of the board?
None?
Is there any new business of the board?
All right.
Might we then entertain a recess unless we have someone that would like to address the board? Okay, we're going to call for a recess. May I have a motion to recess?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That ends the televised portion of this evening's board meeting. Have a good week. We'll see you next week, I hope, at the Village Hall at 7:30 on Tuesday evening.
Wednesday.
Wednesday evening,
Into the second quarter.
yes, for a work session. Good week.